Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Beauty and the Beast, number 2 would be Power Rangers, number 3 would be Life, number 4 would be Kong Skull Island, and number 5 would be Logan. And I got 3 out of 5 of my predictions right, which is actually pretty good. So let's go over what actually happened. Number 1 was, of course, Beauty and the Beast. I don't think there was any surprise here. The movie did extremely well last week, so of course it would get number 1 once again, and it's actually shaping up to be one of the highest grossing Disney films, pretty much, or at least the live-action remakes. This is definitely making more money than The Jungle Book and Alice in Wonderland domestically right now, so worldwide, we'll just have to wait and see, but right now, it made $88 million this weekend, and that adds to a domestic total of $316 million, and this is only at a worldwide point at 690, which means it only needs $310 million more to get to the $1 billion margin, which I think it'll be able to do, because this is only on its second week, and it's almost there, which is pretty incredible if you ask me for this movie. I never thought that Beauty and the Beast would be the one to be the extreme, super successful live-action Disney remake, but hey, that's still pretty cool for this movie. That's still really good, and I'm glad that it's making so much money. Hopefully, the rest of the live-action remakes don't feel like pointless cash grabs. At number 2, we have Power Rangers. I don't think anyone's surprised that it got second place to Beauty and the Beast, but it still did pretty good this weekend. It made $40 million this weekend, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $59 million. Now, this is probably going to get bigger as weeks go by because most people are at Beauty and the Beast, so maybe more people will want to see Power Rangers as the weeks go on, but hey, at least it's turning out to possibly be the highest grossing Power Rangers film, and there's only really 2 to compete with, so that's not really saying much, but at least it's making a lot of money, and it's only at a budget of $100 million, so it needs to get to at least $200 million worldwide, somewhere around that, to break even, according to the doubling budget logic there. So I think it'll definitely be able to do that. It started out strong, and it's not like it's open in other places yet also, so when it opens up in other foreign places, the worldwide numbers I think will definitely go up, and I am actually interested to see where else the series would go if they make more movies, so I'm glad that this movie's doing pretty well. At number 3, we have Kong Skull Island. This weekend it made $14 million. That adds to a domestic total of $133 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $327 million. Now, on the budget at 185, technically, to be considered a success, it needs to get to $370 million, so it's about $43 million away from that point, and I think it'll definitely be able to get there. It's got a long ways to go domestically too, since it's only sitting at number 3, and I think worldwide will also support that. There is some news going around that it needs to get to at least $500 million to break even, and the fact that it hasn't done that yet is a little disappointing, I guess you could say, for this monster cinematic universe, but it's still doing pretty well, even if it isn't as big as the first King Kong movie was, because that finished off at around $200 million, and on the worldwide it got to $500 million. And I think Kong Skull Island might be able to get past that, or maybe it'll be at around the same points. Who knows? We'll have to see in the next coming weeks. At number 4, we have Life. This weekend it made $12 million, and that's only on a budget of $58 million. And according to Box Office Mojo, it hasn't opened up in any other places worldwide yet. So technically, you can say that this is a box office bomb, because if we are going to apply the doubling budget logic as far as breaking even, it would need to get to $116 million to do so, and it only opened with $12 million, which is kind of sad because I hear this movie's pretty good. I haven't seen it yet, but it does look pretty interesting. Hopefully it opens up in other places so that it can make more money. But moving on to number 5, that being Logan. This weekend it made $10 million, and that adds to a domestic total of $201 million across the $200 million margin that I'm very happy with. And on the worldwide chart, it is at $547 million. It's only $53 million away from getting to $600 million worldwide, which is fantastic for Logan. I'm glad that it's still making money out there because it truly is a spectacular film. It is a little sad to see Logan go down in the box office, since this is Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine film. This is one of the last few times I'll be able to talk about Hugh Jackman in an X-Men movie, and that's And that's pretty sad, actually, but we'll focus more on that later when it actually leaves the top 10. Moving on to number 6, which is Get Out. This weekend it made $8 million, and that adds to a domestic total of $147 million, which is still fantastic for this film. It is making so much money, more money than I actually anticipated, but I'm happy that it is because it is a fantastic movie. And when you look at the worldwide chart, it actually has $154 million in total, which is just even better. The more money, the better for Jordan Peele. I hope he continues to make films like this. At number 7, we have Dax Shepard's and Michael Pena's Chips, the remake of that television show with Eric Estrada. You remember that? I don't know. Apparently no one really does because it only made $7 million this weekend, and it's on a budget of $25 million. So this is a kind of a big flop for this movie, but as I predicted last week, I didn't think it would be able to make as much to get into the top 5, and I was right. It only opened at number 7. Boo-hoo for Dax Shepard and Michael Pena, but it looked pretty bad anyways. At number 8, we have The Shack. This weekend it made $3 million, and that adds to a domestic total of $49 million. So it's made $9 million more than the doubling point of its budget. That's pretty good for this movie. It's about to leave the top 10. I think it's gonna barely cling on for dear life next week because there's only 2 movies that'll be pushing down. I think The Shack will stick around at number 10 next week. So this is one of the last few times I'm going to talk about this movie that I haven't seen and have no real interest in seeing. Moving on to number 9, which is the Lego Batman movie, which made $1,970,000 this weekend, and that adds to a domestic total of $170 million, and on the worldwide chart it is sitting at $290 million. It's only $10 million away from getting to $300 million worldwide. It probably won't be able to do that next week. It probably won't even be in the top 10 next week. I'm just gonna assume that right off the bat. I am a little worried about the future of these Lego movies because the first Lego movie did very well, and this one, it still did fantastic at the box office, but compared to the Lego movie, it just wasn't as huge, which I'm actually kind of surprised by because it's the Lego movie, but all about Batman, and everyone loves Batman. But so that kind of surprised me, but it still made a lot of money. It still shows a good sign for these Lego films. They will probably do fantastically at the box office, but it probably won't be ever be as big as the first Lego movie. But moving on to number 10, which is the Belko Experiment, which made $1,807,000, and this is only adding to a total of $7 million. So they didn't double their $5 million budget, but I'm assuming that they didn't really go over that much of $5 million because it is Blumhouse after all, and they usually just stick to the lowest of low budgets. So I'm assuming that this movie did okay. I honestly don't really know. But now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. I'm going to predict that number 1 will be Beauty and the Beast for the last time. I think this movie will have one good hurrah, and then it'll exit. I think number 2 will be The Boss Baby. Then number 3 will be Ghost in the Shell. Number 4 will be Power Rangers. And number 5 will be Kong Skull Island. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave it in the comments below. And if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.